Hello everyone. Hi, so my name's Andy. Thanks for that, John. I work at City University of London. And what I'm going to talk to you today is a little bit about careers and what you might be considering when you're going to university. So I'm going to go slightly old school and put some slides on. If you bear with me just a quick second, and I'll get that up and running. So hopefully you can all see that. We're going to talk a little bit today about where a degree can take you and all the different options around higher education and where you can end up in terms of your progression at the end of it. Now, there's some pretty big questions to start thinking about first of all, and these can look absolutely terrifying, I appreciate. First of all, you know, we're thinking, well, what do I want to do the rest of my life? Why do a degree full stop? And why should I study that subject? How do I use it? And ultimately, how am I going to get a job at the end of it? And this can be quite daunting to start thinking about some of these things quite early. And by no means do you need to have all of the answers to those questions. There are people who end up here, graduating from university, and they still don't know the answers to those questions. That's absolutely fine. So you don't need to come in fresh, knowing everything that you need to know and knowing where you want to end up. University is a bit of a process and will help you work out what it is you want to do as well. At the same time, if you have got a clear idea about where you want to go and why you want to do a degree to get you there, that's absolutely fantastic as well. It's only going to help you. What I want to have a look at is in sort of the next 10, 15 minutes or so is sort of the myths around graduate employability as well. I'm going to try and tackle each four. And the first one we're going to take a look at is that everyone having a degree nowadays. This is something that a lot of people say, why should I go to university? Everyone's got a degree. What's the point anymore? And it's not actually true. So there's about a 60-40 split. And in terms of the people with a degree, it's about 40% of the UK population. So less than half of people in the UK are degree educated. So it's not the case that everybody does have a degree at all. And when we look at what employers are looking for, we're looking at a situation right now where the skills shortage in the country has got worse and worse and worse. So the gap between what employers are needing and what they're getting is growing. And the expectation is that that's going to continue to grow over the coming years as well. So employers are looking for skilled people to come into their organisations. The good news for you, as if you're considering university, is that degrees often demonstrate this high level of skill. So no matter what subject it is you do, a lot of the time you'll find you develop a lot of really good skills that you can use and then apply to different careers as well. I'm going to have a look at some of the different areas that people go into. And in terms of the recession that started in 2008, the Leeds University Careers Service put that down as 2013 was the end date for graduates in terms of that recession. So people might still struggle to find jobs in 2015, 2016, but for graduates, that picture has only been getting better for the last 7 years. So that should give you hopefully some confidence that coming out of university with a degree is really positive and is making an impact on the job market. Another one let's have a look at is I can't get a job with that subject. And lots of people will say this all the time. Why study X, Y, Z? Because you won't get a job using that course. So when we look at job adverts, they often will say that they're looking for people with degrees. There's a real split between ones that want specific degrees and people who are just looking for a graduate in any area. And it's about 30% of jobs that ask for a really specific graduate. Now, it will be the case likely that this is people like dentists. Obviously, people will want a dentist who's got a dentistry degree. So that means that there's quite specific requirements for those courses. But 70% of these graduate jobs are looking for someone with university level education, but not necessarily a specific degree subject. So there's loads of different things you can do when you come out of the end of any course and any degree that you study. And it's not like that your path is absolutely set for you. So having a look at those top 10 graduate jobs, nurses is number one. And if you want to be a nurse, yes, you have to have a nursing degree. But if you want to work in marketing, which is the second most popular, you don't have to have a marketing degree at all. Those job adverts will look for people with a degree level study, not necessarily a specific subject. And there's lots and lots and lots in that top 10 where you're not necessarily looking for specific subjects. Graduates will also go on to do a load of different things as well. You're likely to have numerous careers nowadays than it is numerous jobs. So you might start off working in marketing, for example, move over into finance 20 years later. You might go into work in teaching at some point in your career as well. It's likely that you'll do very, very various different things. And as I say, graduates will work in lots of different areas. So looking at some of the subjects in a bit more detail, people who've done accounting and finance degrees, about 60% of those will go and work in business, finance, accounting, those sorts of areas. There's also people who work as pilots, ski instructors, bartenders in warehouses, supermarkets, loads of different things that people do. And then looking at these other subjects as well, people will often say, yeah, well, I want to do accounting because I want to be an accountant. If I don't do it, I won't be an accountant. And we'll take a look at that example specifically later on. Yes, if you want to be a doctor, you will have to do medicine, and that's never going to change. But some people think then, okay, so why do history? What can I do with a history degree? There's no job attached to that at all. And no, there isn't a specific job that history graduates will go and do, but there's so many that they do go and do as well. So I had a quick look at what history graduates are now going on to do. And some of the things that came up were people going into teaching, there's people working as trainee solicitors, as surveyors, people working in insurance, people working as underwriters, financial accountants and data analysts as well. They're using a lot of the skills that actually you may associate with an accounting and finance degree and think, well, they won't be able to get a job in that sector. But they're using the skills they developed as part of their course to help them get onto that career in the future. You don't necessarily need to have done a degree in a specific area to allow you to access that profession. There are lots and lots of different routes into different jobs. A lot of people say, well, there aren't any graduate jobs, so what's the point? Because I don't come out with the sort of jobs that I'd be looking for. As I've kind of mentioned before, that employers do need graduates and they want graduates as well. And that's a really, really positive position for people coming out of university to be in. Having a bit of a look at what that looks like in terms of the data behind it, you can see that there was that little bit of a dip from 2008 where the economy did slow down. But you can see from 2010, that middle blue line there, the graduate employability rates have been growing ever since. So for the last 7 years on record, graduates, their employability has only been increasing. And that is true across every sector of the economy, every area. But the graduate employability rate is higher than those without a degree. So degrees do generally help people in terms of their work. Having a look a bit deeper, about 74% of people are now in professional or managerial jobs within 6 months of graduating. So it's about 3/4 of those coming out of universities, which is pretty much higher than it's ever been. The graduate unemployment rate is also the lowest it's been for about the last 40 years. So your chances of getting a job as a graduate are higher than ever. And more graduates are going to further study as well. So people might go and do different things. Again, let's take those history graduates. As well as them going and doing all those different jobs that we mentioned, they might be retraining into journalism. They might be going on to work in archaeology perhaps, and then tailoring their history degree and something in a different direction. There's lots of different things that people will go on and do, and it's not necessarily all about the work either. Study is another option. So the last one I want to touch on quickly is having to have something specific to work in a certain career. This is something we come up with all the time. Actually, there's loads of careers that you can go into without having a specific degree at all. There are lots of people who go work in business and management, go work in information technology, finance, we've already mentioned, law and teaching as well. Don't have to have degrees in those subjects to go on to do those careers. Taking law as an example, you don't have to have a law degree to be a lawyer. That might be really helpful. It might give you a really good grounding, and it definitely kind of gives you a really good understanding of lots of different areas of the law that you might be interested in. And that can be a real big advantage. But do you need a law degree to be a lawyer? The answer is no. You can always retrain and convert degrees in other subjects into law as well. So there's lots of opportunities there. Again, picking on the finance example, not everyone who's an accountant will have an accounting degree. They could have gone and done lots and lots of different things. And actually, the teaching profession is built up of people without teaching degrees. Your languages teacher will probably have a Spanish degree if they're teaching Spanish. and then done an additional teaching qualification as well. So it's built up of lots of different people with lots of different skills. And this is what makes sectors really, really successful. So I want to show you this one as well. I mentioned accounting earlier. And this was, I Googled a job description for a graduate accountant. And this is exactly what came up. The first line was they were looking for a degree. I Googled graduate accountant. That's why they were looking for a degree. But the first thing it said was that was in any discipline. So not saying specifically finance, specifically business even, or even maths or economics, let alone accounting. They are looking for someone with a degree. So a level of higher study and skill development from other levels of study. But it doesn't matter what that discipline is. They're looking with good A levels, good GCSE results as well. But then they're looking for a whole host of skills. And that takes up the majority of that job description. They're looking for people who can do all these different things. And again, to use the history example, because I think this is a subject where people often think, you know, where does it take you? If you're good at working with history, you are likely to have very excellent attention to detail, as is on this job description, because you're very good at analysing sources. You're very good at communicating things, which again is something that they're asking for. So these skills that you gain through lots of different subjects are something that you can then apply to different careers as well. I think the key things to remember are that you can always retrain, and you probably will always retrain as well. So lots of people will, say, move into different careers, different areas of the economy as well as they go through their careers. But I think skills are the currency of graduates at the moment. And the more you can make the most of your skills through your time at university, whether that be through academic study, whether it be through some things that Rebecca mentioned as well, like doing sports, getting involved in other things as well. Very similar to the personal statement, actually. Lots of these job applications are looking for skills, and how you develop them that's really, really important. There are graduate jobs out there, but I also want to say as well that there are no guarantees. You cannot guarantee you that everyone listening today will walk out of university onto a graduate job. It's all about you making the most of your experience, developing those skills, developing yourselves, coming out with the results that you want to come out with at the end of it as well. So I think the top tips for me then are really to think about what it is you want to do, and not necessarily worry about having the answer, but at least start thinking about that. Research all the different routes as well, all the different things that you can go into, and just be aware of all the options that are out there, and not try and get too concerned with really narrowing down your options too early. And study something you enjoy. And the last one I was going to end on was just that, so my degree is in a subject that people think you won't tend to get a job in. So my degree is in French and German, so we're all speaking English now. So you could say I'm not using that every day. My degree is in communication, and I've spent a lot of the last few years, and particularly the last few weeks online, communicating with people and talking to them. And so that's one of the skills that I really helped develop that I now use in my everyday job. I would also say as well, I don't want to speak for Rebecca and Robbie specifically, but I'd never heard of university marketing and guidance while I was at school. It wasn't something that I thought I can't wait to work with schools and colleges advising on people how to fill their student finance applications in. It's not something that I ever knew about. It's something that I've found out about from going to university and really enjoyed. There's so many options out there, lots of different things that you can do. I think that step one, though, is to have a bit of a think, know what's out there, and assess all those different options, and not to panic too much if you don't know the answers.